What is up, YouTube team? What is up, Sniper team? It's time to get this Friday. Feels like it's a Friday because we're winning some money the past couple of days, but it's actually Tag-A-Bag Tuesday. For those of you guys that are joining me live on YouTube as well as social media, what's going on? I am Sniper Mike, and I'm going to lead you through this last hour of the market. How are we doing today? Outside in the be who I'm supposed to be. Outside of these walls, where all my problems feel so small. Outside, where this palm trees and meadows got so blue and the sunshine yellow, feeling like a kid. All right. If anybody's got any questions or any tickers that they're looking at, please let me know. This is a community that's open to making money together. That's always the goal. Let's get rich together. And if you don't follow me actually on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter, you can go follow me under Stock Snipers and Stock Sniper Team on Twitter, or I guess X now. But I posted a nice little get rich with another trader. I traded with him on Friday. We actually tagged 3 bags together. He got 1, I got 2. And we were able to go to lunch early, have some cheeseburgers on the water. It was a vibe. It was a big vibe. Not going to lie. So that's what this community is about, and that's why we're here live today, is because we're trying to make money from one day to the next. Now, out of the past 3 days, I've had 10 trades. That's a lot of trades. That's more than usual. And on an ugly market day like this, for me, I typically pull back a little bit. You know, sometimes on an ugly market day, there's opportunity for me. You know, it all depends on what's out there. But right now, I'll talk about what I'm looking for every day with my team live on the Simpler Trading website under Stock Snipers. I actually get with the team and we make a watch list called the Over. Much I love. There are 2 OTC stocks that are making big moves that I do think we'll be able to tomorrow or the next day. So we'll also review a morning watch list and see what else we have maybe for tomorrow as well. So let's get into today, but let's talk about the 2 OTCs at first because there's not as much going on. I'll go over, actually, I'll talk about the 2 stocks I like. There's only 2 that I personally like right now. Every Friday, every afternoon, I keep saying Friday. I'm getting excited for the weekend or something. No, my friend just texted me about a plan. We might go to the, it's like a nighttime water park here in Orlando. Might go a little, it's like a party out at night. I think I'm going to do it this Friday. And then I got a trading event this weekend. So pretty pumped up. I got a loaded up weekend that's coming up here in Orlando. But all right, let's dive in. So the 2 stocks I would say that are pretty decent. Johnny just brought up one. Let me go look at that one. I haven't seen that yet. But I would say as a higher price stock, the dog company that made a big move during COVID, and it's creating a first green day pattern, Chewy. The only thing I don't love about Chewy is there's not a lot of follow-up days. So when I look for a first green day, I'm looking for, I go zoom out to the past history and I say, where's the last time I created the first green day? Right here on 7/20, July 20th. It didn't follow up. It also did one on August 4th. It barely followed up. It did one here, barely followed up on 4/20. Here it actually followed up 225 to 226. And there's a couple examples back here. But that's a first green day, looking for a possible second green day. What I do know is when I zoom into the daily chart, or I guess when I zoom into the minute chart, sorry, not to confuse you, it has $23 support. Hey, my dog's eating his bed over here. How did you figure out how to open that? What is wrong with you, buddy? He's a funny guy. Don't do that. That's not good for you. But all right, Chewy is $23 cut. So that's the one thing I'd say is okay, is that it is got some sort of tight risk. And you want to make sure you're sticking to your risk cut in an ugly market like these. People don't realize it's the most important thing to do is learn how to be a good loser in a time like these. So Chewy's a decent one, and then the CYPH is really random. This is a Zcash related stock. So if you've heard about the altcoin Zcash, it has two stocks I usually like to watch when it comes to Zcash, and it's this one, which it looks like it's got some mining news, launch of Cypherpunk mining. I mean, they just own tons of Zcash, and it looks like they're mining more Zcash. CYPH, and they've got news. It's a pretty nice first green day. Another stock that doesn't have a lot of history of follow-up green days. There is a big gap down, and it's coming right to that resistance right now, and there's big spike days in the past. This one's running purely off news because Zcash is not even up that much, and the ZSCH is the other Zcash-related stock I like to look, and it's not even up. CYPH, it looks like, is just really moving off this news. But those are the only two I would say that are creating something right now. For me, I'm gonna make a quick little scan to see if there's anything else. I also am watching DVLT, but I'm not as in love with this one. This is a first green day AI stock. It just has earnings in the morning, and typically I don't like a stock that has earnings in the morning, but that is a first green day as well. But earnings in the morning, I'm not a fan of. I don't like to bet on earnings. So I don't think I'm going to put that one on the overnight watch list. The one that you brought up, Johnny, is a little light volume. That's the only problem with it. It's a little too light volume for me to go after. Let me do a quick scan and see if there's anything else. The two OTCs that I do think are really great plays for tomorrow, because they're both still holding up, are NLST and REMF, R-E-M-F. Both of them held up. REMF actually bounced all the way to 130 after the panic today. So there was two opportunities on REMF today. You could have made money from 140 down to 110 or 106, and then you could have made money from 106 or 110 back to 130. Two decent opportunities on this stock, and it's nice to see. I'll be looking for a panic or a bounce. We'll find out which way it wants to go tomorrow. And the same thing with NLST. We thought that it could possibly get a panic, but it's holding up right now. We'll see if it lives to see another day or if we could panic, but I'm not going to touch it yet. I think tomorrow we'll have to wait and play it by momentum or not. There's a random, actually, no, it's too light volume. I was going to say another OTC, SKFG. That one's too light volume. It looks like we got a cannabis stock that's kind of squeezy, GNLN. Too sketchy for me to go after, but it made some move there. I'm not going to touch that one. So I'm just looking, I'm going down my list. I'm trying to see if there's anything that's possibility here. We had a huge runners. There was like a group of huge runners here today and yesterday. So morning momentum plays are definitely going to be on watch. A lot of these AI robotic stocks, it's like these stocks that are going from AI to robotics. Pretty interesting. But the first one was AIXC. It got halted over and over again. It's still holding, and it's got 100 million in volume. Not saying I'd go after it, but maybe later this week, depending on what it does. We had WETO. Ran from $10 all the way to $53. Pretty amazing momentum there that ended up happening. IPST, another huge runner. So that's what I mean with there might be some later on opportunities this week as these settle. You have XOS, another one that went nuts after hours. It looks like they got news, prototype. Now it says been a prototype other trajectory agreement by the United States. Electrified equipment. A lot of drone companies, robotic companies are getting moves after Trump did put a tariff on all international drone companies last week. So all of these stocks are ones you want to keep on watch. For tomorrow, morning momentum plays is what I like to call them. We've got, let's see, are there any really on watch? I think IVF, but it's not even that good of a one. But after today, we should have a nice group of them. After all these big green days we've had. Brand new one, NTWO. Another robotic stock going public via merger. So something's going on with some robotics. Nice to see. Still holding my patience, finishing my scans here. Seeing if there's anything else that's interesting, but I don't know. Today does seem like a day, even though we've made 10 trades in the past 3 days. Reef ended up holding. I'll show you how to fix that wick because I don't know. It ticked 133 and 138 for me, but it definitely didn't tick all the way to 2. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. That's like a little tip that TD does. Some other higher price stocks, if you want to talk higher price stocks like Chewy, you had Lululemon that was creating a first green day. And honestly, this one looks pretty decent because of how many multiple downward days this is. Honestly, Lulu's a pretty good one. With that 120 cut, pretty much 119.70. So we'll put Lulu over here because DVLT has earnings. It's pretty interesting to see. McDonald's always is usually up when the markets are down, and then Spotify's up 6% today. So you got a couple larger price stocks. All those stocks you can mess around with options. Like if you like Chewy, that has the option opportunity. If you like Lulu, that has the option opportunity. Right now, it looks like Lulu and Chewy are my favorite, and then CYPH is that other one. But I don't know. Not as much going on today. Not as much going on today. All right, I got one more watch list I'm going to go through, and then we'll make this overnight watchers and see if maybe we can make money off one of these plays, or we just wait for tomorrow and wait for the next best opportunity. So let me just do my last scan. Lulu is trying to hold that 119. I guess that would be the level you would say is the cut. I don't know if you guys saw the news. I brought it up earlier this morning, but the NASDAQ is officially going to go to 24-hour trading. Pretty crazy to see. It technically is going to be 23 hours because they're going to close down from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Interesting. Eastern time, but whatever. That's going to cause definitely some interesting stuff. It's going to cause probably new momentum, new plays. So it'll be exciting to see what exactly comes. Usually at the beginning of anything brand new, there's usually a little bit of a disconnect. If you could find out where it is, that's usually where we get good at making money. So that's always the goal. All right, but we've got only 40 minutes left, and it looks like there's nothing else that I found for the overnight watchers. So I think I'm going to stick with just the ones we have. Cast is another big runner, but that's a China one. I don't love the China runners, Chris, but that is one that you are bringing up. Not a bad one. The overnight watchers I'm going to do is Lulu, Chewy, and CYPH. We're only doing 3 today. I know. I wish there was more, but I think tomorrow morning we're going to have a little more opportunities, and that's kind of where I'm going to focus my risk on. If we did that today, we probably could have done pretty well with Reef. CYPH is dipping if you do like that one. Typically, you like to buy on dips. So this is where the levels you'd want to start looking to be interested. I think I need one day, though, to kind of sit back here. I might do one of these higher priced ones because I know they're not going to move too much. Let me just make sure Lululemon or Chewy doesn't have earnings coming up. When is Lululemon's earnings? Alright, it doesn't say Lulu's are coming up or Chewy's anytime, so we don't have to worry about that. That'd be the only thing that make me a little nervous. Let's see if it keeps holding this level. VWAP's technically 119, like 120. And then that 119.75 would be your cut, which is only 50 cents for $100 stock. It's nothing. But do we just kind of wait? Is it even worth it to go after that, or do we just wait for tomorrow? That's the debate we have to put on here. Let's see if CYPH holds that 80 spot that it just touched down on. Sorry if you hear my dog snoring behind me here. He's hanging out as I put Chewy on the board. Man, my fiance actually worked for them when they were during COVID. It was such a busy time. The stock like 10x too. It was wild how many people were getting hired there. Should have known. Had that inside source there. There was like a school of customer service people coming in, and she actually had to be a teacher to the school. For Zcash, it looks like 79 is the support, so that would be the area that I would use as cut for there. I'm just finishing up this watch list right now, and then we'll review it. All right, so here we are. This is the list that we're going to do. Typically, I like to put a decent amount on here, but at this point, today is a slower day. We're pulling back just slightly, and we're going to kind of let the day play out and see the opportunity that kind of plays out to tomorrow, in my personal opinion. Maybe some Lulu and maybe some Chewy, depending on if we dip enough. So let's dive in and let's talk about the 3 stocks that I put on there. I usually put 5. So I typically put 5 or less. I only put 3 on here because there's not as much going on. But anytime you watch this list, what you're looking at is you're looking at the stock, the pattern, what the stock is. And for both of these, I would look for call options as well because they both have calls and puts. So for Lululemon is the first one we said we liked. As long as it keeps holding this 119.75, that would be your cut spot. From here, it's only 50 cents, which is nothing. And maybe it gaps up and pushes. If you open up the options of Lulu, I would look at the one that expires this Friday. I mean, those ones are a little e-liquid. Those ones are e-liquid too, but a little cheaper. Lulu doesn't seem like they have the best options. Let's see what's going on with Chewy. The second stop is Chewy. Anytime we put a stock on this watch list, I'm always going to put daily resistance and daily support spots. The goal is you want to buy as close to the daily support as possible and hopefully sell above the daily resistance and more. So for the stock Chewy, what you're looking for is for it to continue to hold 23, which it's held all day. And if you could buy it around that level and risk 23, you're looking for it to break back above highs and hopefully gap up tomorrow. So it's coming down right now, which is a decent thing. We'll see what happens there. If I look at Chewy options, let's see if these ones are a little more volatile compared to the Lululemon ones. They're really light as well. But both of those have options. If you get in on the bid, And then the last one I put on there was a Zcash related stock. The CYPH has news. When a stock has news, I always say it's a little bonus on top. Does Chewy have news this morning? No news in Chewy since July. Wow, almost a month without news. Did I read that right? What the heck is Chewy doing? A stock like that would usually drop way more news. Maybe they're due to drop something. I'm very surprised by that. And then Lulu would be your other situation here. But no news there either. I think I'm going to wait a little bit. The one I do like the most, I would say, is this one because it's multiple downward days and then it's trying to turn around. That's usually a better sign. So I am watching this one out of all of them. But I'm not going to go too large in it if we do go after it. This is a decent spot already. Maybe if it comes back to 120.50. And then every morning, if we don't like anything from the overnight watch list, hold on, let me refresh the screen really quick. I always like to look at the morning watch list as well for possible opportunities. And today we had a pretty great one coming right from the morning watch list. It was the number one stock. Well, number 1 and 2 were Reef and NLST. But NLST and Reef, we'll talk about those in a second because they're definitely still big watchers. But a huge drop there from 145 to 106. That was a good short opportunity there. And it even bounced from 106 back to 130. So nice to see. We got some momentum in OTC stocks back. We'll see if that keeps holding for tomorrow. I do have a plan for it, and we'll go over that in about 5 minutes. But let's see how these stocks play out as we close out the day. I'll also tell you how we're going to clean up this wick because this wick up to 2 is not helping us view this stock the way we like it. I think I'm going to try some Lulu. I'm just going to go stock on it. I'm not going to go anything crazy with it. I'm going to go like around like 5K. What spread is that? All right, I think Lulu's going to be the one. If you like CYPH, that one's still holding too. It's a pretty decent first screen day. Lulu's going to not do much tomorrow, and I'm not going to be overly loaded because I'm going to be looking at other things. But we'll see if it can continue. If you do want to look at the options now on Lulu, I'm going to stay away from CYPH. Let's pull them up down here. Well, I'll put Chewy down here, and then I'll put the options right next to Lulu. All right. Let me get to these options here on Lulu. See if I can sneak my win into some. When it comes to these options, I do like to put myself on the bid, so I'm going to lower myself in. CYPH continuing to hold that 80-cent spot for now. Chewy's giving us a little dip, and Lulu's giving us a little dip. We did get a little bit already in Lulu at 120.25. It's a higher price stock. I'm not going to mess with it if it comes back below 119.75. But if it can keep holding, maybe we can get the gap up after multiple red days there. Chewy did come back to support. That would be the level you would want to look for it if you like it. I don't have a lot of Chewy follow-up days, so I'm going to stay a little bit more away. We have 25 minutes left in the day, but for after hours moving, that'll happen till 8. And that also goes back to the topic of after hours trading and 24-hour trading that's about to happen. I mean, how active is after hour trading? I know some people do it and we do it sometimes, but it is a lot more thin. And I do feel like that'll probably still be what happens with this 24-hour trading kind of thing. I could see any of these stocks, REINF and NLST gapping. I see what you mean there. I just don't want to mess around with them. I feel like the opportunity is going to be tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it is holding now. It's got shorts definitely caught up. So yeah, and that's just my personal opinion on that 24-hour trading thing. We'll see what happens. I'll definitely be a lot more reactive to it, and I'll be watching it. It doesn't happen until December 6th, so it's a while till that does happen. But the Nasdaq's going to be the first broker to do it, and we'll see if it causes madness, causes a little more volatility. We'll get a feel for it. I'm going to start creating the morning watch list for tomorrow. And let's start talking about NLST and REINF and the two OTC stocks that I thought were really, really going to end up pulling up some pretty big moves, if not tomorrow, then sometime next week. All right, so let's talk about REINF first, because REINF actually showed us a little bit of opportunity already. Lulu comes down and falls below 119.75. I'm not going to play with it too much here. And I'll live to see another day tomorrow because there's probably going to be a lot more opportunity. Let's see. I'm going to pull back these options here. This would be the spot you want it to hold, though. Get another share or two here. NLST just made new highs. So maybe you are right about that, Nick. Nick said he's watching a little bit of NLST for a possible gap up. We'll talk about those in a second. I just want to see if this one's going to be able to hold at all. It is such a higher price stock that honestly this mini dip is nothing right now. That CYPH is continuing to hold 80 cents, so trying to bounce off that 80 spot. Slow and steady, slow and steady. Nice move by NLST right there. All right, Lulu's giving us a little bit of that dip. This is the last spot. I'm looking to possibly buy some right here, but if it does come back down to 119, I don't want it anymore. But this would be your spot you would say is right at the dip. It's such a higher price spot that you're not even going to lose much, even if it goes back to 119. But if it's able to hold around here and gap back up above highs, that's ideally what we would look for when it comes to these plays. You got your little bit of an afternoon dip, but for Lulu, it doesn't really have support after this level. So that's why I say this is really the spot you want to see it hold. Chewy's also making a new lows too. So both of them are kind of getting this fade here with this ugly market. That long-term first green day still looks good. When you go back to the long-term chart, just the support on the daily shows it could possibly dip all the way back down another dollar. which I don't know if I want to hold on for that. Chewy is right back down to that support level though. So if you did like that one earlier, this is definitely a time you would like it right now, I would say. I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring over here. That's how the markets feel right now. A little bit sleepy. I think I'm just going to stick all cash here, and we're going to focus on some of these other plays. So let's dive into the OTCs and let's look at what these were able to do here. Because Chewy and Lulu, I think we'll live to see other better opportunities. No need to hold on anymore or try to even think that these things are going to pop. There is a good opportunity they do. I mean, Chewy's down to that support, but how much more are we going to make off of them? That's always the question off of a slower stock like this. Not really my forte of plays is a larger play like that, but it is still creating a pattern, and typically my patterns are based off of emotions, and the emotion might lead to a follow-up day, and that's what we like about that. But all right, let's talk about tomorrow's opportunities, because that's really where we'll start to shift our focus. It starts off with NLST and REINF. Now that NLST held up, it starts to be like, is this going to become a stock that wants to break back out again? So NLST is the first one we'll talk about for a sec. If you zoom out, you'll be able to see the run that it had from 250 up to 7. This had this run because it had news with Samsung. And then it had more news with Micron. So it keeps coming out with news with larger stocks. That caused the momentum shift. Now you usually would expect a panic, but it did just hold up on a day. So sometimes when you hold up, you might be able to keep going. You know, shorts are in trouble there, and that's exactly what we're watching happening. So will it be able to hold up? We will see. But tomorrow will lead to possible another short opportunity. And last time, you know, we fell from 7 to 560, so that was a pretty nice opportunity on the downside. Or maybe we break up on the upside. It's going to be more situational tomorrow. Hard to say exactly what's going to happen, but there is the movement there. And then REINF is the other one. It's showing it wicked all the way to 2. Let me show you how to fix this wick, because that is not true. So if I right click on the wick, where is it? There it is. Correct this bar would be what you click. And when you press correct this bar, you can see that it wicked to 2 right here on the highs. That's not what happened. That is a myth. It went from 126. I think it hit 133 because I actually got a tick for 133. 126 and 127. So these are the levels that it got to, and I rerouted them. So you can see it says it went to the high a day of 2, but that is not true. So I changed it to 133, but I kept everything else the same. Definitely keep the volume the same. And then when you press apply, it goes back to just that normal wick up. And this is more looks like what happened here on the day. So we'll see what's going to happen there. But maybe a middle inside day here on the day. We'll find out as we live to see another day tomorrow. We've got 12 more minutes. Does anybody have anything else that they're watching maybe for tomorrow as well? Let me put the one morning momentum play I talked about. Where was it? Possibly. We'll see. Maybe IVF. It's holding that key dollar spot. It gapped up yesterday. IVF. So we'll have a lot of funds ready to go tomorrow. I feel like it's better to have all our focus. Take a little breather, take a little refresher. It's been 10 trades now in that long of a span. It's a little too long for 10 trades, in my opinion. And now things are coming down. The QQQ is down 1.7. The SPY is down 0.7. Why I say it's too much trades is because yesterday I had a feeling that I shouldn't take a trade, and then I sat there and still ended up taking one. I even ended up selling a listed stock that I bought Power Hour because I was like, I don't want to be exposed to the market. But then I held one, and that one ended up coming back down. So that was pretty annoying. Nice. NLST is getting a little pop here into the close. So that one will live to see another day. CYPH ended up hanging around. It does look like Chewy and Lulu for now came back down. We'll see if they end up gapping up, but all Power Hour. And that's why during a slower market, I try to say pull the sniper back a little bit and wait for things to come back, and we'll attack when that happens. All right, now we officially got 10 minutes left. What I like to call the buzzer beater push. But right now, we're not really good for anything to push. QQQ is going to stay down. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning. If we get another gap down in the market, we'll see how it reacts. Nice patience on Lulu as it continues to fall. We'll see what happens with that CYPH after hours. Still trying to hold its ground there. If you are in that one, it looks like 80 cents would be the spot that it held for CYPH. So if you like that 79, 80 spot, that's actually a decent hold there. It's coming back up to highs. Seems like the only one. I mean, Chewy did hold 23.2, which is the support. Lulu kind of dropped the support completely. Ugly place. I always say there's easy money and there's hard money. Today's a little example, or this afternoon is an example of harder money. The opportunity was already in the morning, and I think we'll have more in a little bit Wednesday morning. Another green wick in the books, though, so we're going to go over webinar Wednesday to tomorrow, It's always a review of last week's trades, and it was a back-to-back decent green weeks. My dog is snoring back there. So CYP8's that 80 cent seems like a hold for now. If you did try it that first green day, we'll see if it can follow up. There is big rejection levels coming up, but I actually am going to put this on the morning watch list tomorrow too, because that is key levels that was coming up there. So for once, let's see how many days we had. For once in like 5 days or 4 days, we're not taking anything overnight. And we'll live to wake up tomorrow. If you are looking for that morning momentum play, IVF is the one we actually have as a possible watcher. It was a huge squeezer last week, and then it ended up, 2 days ago, which was, Monday, sorry. And usually what I look for after the spike on Monday is I'm looking for consolidation day, which kind of happened here. And we'll see if it can squeeze back up. So what I like to do is I put some key levels here. I like to put a line at low a day. Just certain key levels that I look at for tomorrow morning to see if we could squeeze. VWAP, the actual close, and then high a day. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. But 7 a.m., I'm all cash, so I'll be ready for the next big opportunity whenever it does happen. And you never know with the market. That's the beautiful thing. You can easily come back to the markets tomorrow morning, and there could be tons of stuff happening because of news. So that's really where we'll focus. Lulu and Chewy came back down lower, so good patience there. What else? What am I going to bring up? We'll keep NLST and REIF pulled up, but I think we're going all cash. Stay safe. Patience here is definitely a skill that you will learn in the long run. If you're at the beginning of trading, it's a lot harder to really pinpoint it usually, unless you're nervous of trading and you get too scared to trade, because that happens to a lot of people sometimes. But for the most part, the beginning of trading, you always, at least I did. I always want to be in something every day. But sometimes being all cash and waiting on the sideline can reward you. So NLST and REIF are going to hold their ground. And this is where we're going to close out our day. Those two and IVF will be our main focus. IVF will be the pre-market one. For REIF, depending on what happens tomorrow, I do think there's a breakout level that's really possible in REIF. Why is that not corrected? Let me correct this bar one more time for you guys. So I'm going to correct the long-term bar just to make sure that it's fixed. The high a day was like 146, I think. 106 and 130. 472. Boom. So there's a big breakout that's possibly here too in this one. If it keeps going tomorrow. That 140 spot and then it clips 145. Going for a little NLST ride. There we go. But yeah, I think this is really where your focus should be, as well as the morning momentum plays. Those larger listed plays, it's all right. We'll live to see without them for now. All right, we got 2 minutes left. I'm going to also stay away from CYPH. If you do like it, it's holding 80. Definitely stick to 79 as cut. So don't let this thing fall down too much on you. We'll be ready with all our cash waiting for something special here to start our day. Yeah, I don't know. NLST is definitely makes me a little nervous there. But it's been holding up for 5, 6, 7 days in a row. So why would it gap down tomorrow? Same thing with Reemf. It's been holding for multiple days in a row. Both Chewy and Lulu just made new lows, so really good job staying away from those. And let's get it. This is where we are going to close it out. So for tomorrow morning, I only have a couple stocks here for the overnight watch list. We'll see if CYP8s can continue on that month breakout, and then 87 is that big gap down fill spot. But I don't know. I'm not in love with it. NLST and Reemf. Honestly, for Reemf, I'm looking more for a breakout now. Back above 44, 46, I mean. 146 break spot. Other than that, today seems like the hard money. So let's wait for the easy money. You'll be surprised when you wake up and there's easy money. You forget about the days like this. But all right, team, if you did take something overnight, good luck there. You go get it. Hopefully you get that gap up. If you aren't in anything and you want to watch that 7 a.m.er, I'll be in the chat at 7 a.m. tomorrow. YouTube team, I enjoyed being with you guys. AutoZone and Airbnb after earnings. Sorry, I love this. Loving to see that you guys have some questions. Let me see what's going on. NLST, nice close for you there, Nick. AZO, AutoZone. It's up 1%. It seems like a stock that actually had a decent day, but dipping with the market too. I don't usually like a stock that's only up 1% on the day. I'm looking for usually stocks that are up 10% or so. That's why I was looking for the options in Chewy and Lululemon. But it was a for sure slower session today, without a doubt. And then Airbnb, I don't love to bet on earnings. I'm not an earnings guy. That's typically not my pattern. But it was fun being with you guys. Come trade with me live in the Simpler Trading Room under Stock Snipers. It's only $7 for your first time. Have a great rest of the day. Keep being the best version of you guys.